This is Rich Lieberman. We're live on YouTube, the Bay Area Media Pulse for a Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. And I have been on this for, God, better part of 2 years. And it goes like this. NBC in New York would very much like for Raj Mathai, who works, of course, down in the South Bay at NBC Bay Area. So technically the same company. NBC Corporate, 30 Rock, the big building, yes, in Midtown Manhattan. They would love to see Raj Mathai come to Gotham, and they have sweetened up their deal. Now, this has never, ever been a formal offer, but it is well known, not to just Raj Mathai, but people in and out of the industry. This is very unusual because, like the local stations, even in big markets, the pay, the compensation that traditional anchors who have been at a station for a long time, and not just not just small markets, but big markets too. Folks, the pay is significantly down. Now, the income and for a few, it's still relatively decent. But the days of $1 million salaries and multi-million dollar salaries, and even if you're in a real big market, a top 5, top 10 market like the Bay Area, you don't have the money that you used to have. Just 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it wasn't uncommon for multiple anchors to be making really good money. I'm talking 500,000 used to be a low end, million, little over a million. Nowadays, that's very rare. Unless you're a present day Chuck Scarborough or somebody like that who has that kind of tenure and working in LA or New York. Now they do still pay for the heavyweights. They still do pay top dollar, but it's not as significant as it used to be. Even at the network level, unless you're a superstar, somebody who's been very much out there, and that new guy at NBC. Speaking of NBC, the guy Lamas, he's took over for Lester Holt. Now, $2 million a year, that's not bad money, but for a network anchor, that's not a lot of money. So back to Raj Mathai. Now, NBC in New York would love to see Raj Mathai come to the Big Apple. They view him as somebody that could significantly alter the landscape. They like the fact that he's multi-ethnic, that he has a kind of a young look, even though he's a guy in his late 40s, early 50s. And they would like to build upon somebody like a Raj Mathai, put him on the weekends, have him fill in, have him do special projects. And as I just said a little while ago, they haven't put out a formal offer, but I can tell you that they have presented to Raj Mathai's agent, and NBC is not bashful about paying for what it views as top tier talent. Somebody, and they view this with high regard in terms of what they see the potential is with a guy like Raj Mathai, which is why over the years they've wanted him to come with family, mind you, to New York and work in Manhattan. Like I just said, projects, fill-in anchoring. Although ironically, I don't know, this doesn't make any sense that they would put Lamas, the new anchor from Univision, as their new top flight Monday through Friday anchor. But, there's always room for talent. And NBC News execs, they regard Raj Mathai as mega talented, somebody that could do documentaries, somebody that can do, as I just stated, fill in, somebody that could be a correspondent overseas. So a multiple kind of a gig capacity. They've always liked Raj Mathai. The problem is, it's not that Raj Mathai dislikes New York, loves New York, but he's got a family, got a wife, has a couple of kids, and they're young kids. Do you want to uproot your family in the Bay Area, which he seems to really, really like? He does, and go 3,000 miles east and yet have to, it's not always, folks. It's not always the gig. It's not always, and even a cushy gig like NBC is offering. I'm going to tell you the goodies too, not just the money, which is mega big. It's the lifestyle. It's living, in most of these cases, the talent lives in New Jersey. Unless they're single or unless they don't have kids, those guys and girls, they live probably in a nice condo or an apartment in Manhattan. But when you have kids and a family and the wife and all that kind of a thing, they usually live in suburban New Jersey and they commute to New York. Now, Raj wouldn't have to worry about commuting. They'd probably pick him up in a limousine, which is what they do with top tier talent. It's routine. They used to do that for Katie Couric and Matt Lauer when they both worked at the Today Show. They would be routinely picked up in a limousine, brought to Manhattan, and taken back. So with the high profile people, the super duper people, they usually have that provided. And that would be the case with Raj Mathai. However, like I just said, I don't know if Raj is thrilled about going to New York. He's got a two-pronged issue. One, does he really, 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 at this stage of the game, want to uproot his family and go to New York, albeit very, very lavish lifestyle? That's on his mind right now, in addition to other things, the kids, the different routine, all part of what a new gig would entail. Now, how much is NBC offering Raj? Not just the money, although the money is very significant. How about $3 to $4 million? Now that doesn't seem like a lot of money in the network deal of late. That's a lot of money, folks. That cures a lot of, shall we say, awkward moments. But it's not just that. It's tickets to the New York Ballet, tickets to all the New York sports like the Rangers and the Yankees and the Mets and the hockey and basketball. And I'm sure if Raj wanted to check out a concert at Madison Square Garden with his wife, that's provided also. Those are the cushy little benefits. They've sweetened the deal. The money is significant because it's for somebody that doesn't have a Monday through Friday anchoring position. It's somebody that they regard as up and coming. Again, even though he's in his late 40s, is Raj Mathai, but they view him as a talent worth going after. I don't think Raj, though, in his heart of hearts, I don't think he wants to go to New York. I think if Raj was 35 years old, didn't have a family, maybe was newly married, I think he'd take the position. Will he take this new position? I doubt it. I doubt it. They've not made a formal offer, but my sources tell me that they really are wooing him to come to 30 Rock. And again, it would be a combination of things on his palette. There'd be fill-in anchoring. There'd be doing documentaries, special projects, the chance to visit the entire world, going to China, going to India. He is, of course, Raj Mathai is of Indian descent, an American, of course, born here, of Indian descent. But all the outside factors which I've talked about, the uprooting, the new way of going about your life, that is literally what they are offering. And it hasn't been formal yet, but it's on the table in an kind of an informal manner. They probably will make a formal offer within days to Raj's agent. All the while, he is working down in San Jose as the lead anchor for NBC News in San Jose. And I think he will stay there. This probably will help him, even though he wasn't looking for this, probably get him a few more shekels for NBC in San Jose. So this may ultimately, no matter what the decision is, he probably will stay in the Bay Area. But never say never, right? This is a high profile gig. I know he loves working the Olympics. Well, that's got to be in the equation. NBC still has, I think, the next Olympics coming up, the fall Olympics, or the Winter Olympics. And then, of course, the summer games, which are going to be in Los Angeles in 2028. So talk about a transition. And they've done everything to sort of woo him. And he doesn't know what he's doing. I say, well, I have heard that as much as he is humbled, untold, and really caught in a situation where he has to balance out a whole bunch of things: family, wife, personal stuff, new routine, new geography, living on the East Coast. That's not only a significant factor in your professional life, but your personal life too. I mean, it's different weather, different personal mechanisms, geography, and all that. Does he like snow? Does he like inclement weather on the other extreme, which is, very, very hot and humid summers, that kind of a thing. And of course, living. Now, you can live very, very well in whether it's New Jersey or Manhattan, but doing something and thinking it out and sort of putting it in your cranial head here and trying to visualize and see if that is actually in the equation, that's a whole lot different than actually doing it. And you'd be surprised. A lot of you might be saying, well, God, take the money, go for it, dude. Be on top of the world. It's not like, they're asking you to go to Dubuque or, somewhere else out in the middle of nowhere. But that's a big factor, folks. When you're used to living a certain lifestyle, when, you've made the Bay Area your home. And frankly, from a professional standpoint, make no bones about it. I know this, I do know. He's not thrilled with the media outlets here. He might be thrilled quietly and not publicly, but I can tell you he's not as thrilled as far as NBC local in San Jose. And going to a place like New York and working with NBC News and doing all the projects that I've described is something that is very enticing. Hell, for all I know, he may wake up one day and say, you know what? I talked it over with the wife. My kids are still young enough, so they'll have a good lifestyle and all that stuff. Maybe, just maybe, I take the gig. Again, purely a hunch, folks. On my end, I say he stays in the Bay Area, even though NBC is coming in with a bunch of fastballs, which include a lot of moolah, fringe benefits, the whole palette and everything. It's very tempting, and I'm 100% sure that he being Raj Mathai, is very humble. And just from a personal standpoint, I'm happy for Raj Mathai. He's a very, very good guy, a professional. He is hardworking, knows his craft, is articulate, and has that appearance and all that. But beyond the appearance, you have to have substance. He's got quite a bit of substance, which is one of the reasons why they also like him, is the fact that it's not all appearance. There is a lot of meat and potatoes behind the look and the persona. So, something to watch out for. I know the people down in San Jose, they know what he is, dealing with. One other side note, very, very key side note. One of the NBC execs in Manhattan has Bay Area roots. His name is, excuse me, his name is Kevin Keeshan. Kevin Keeshan used to be a bigwig at KGO TV. Now, if that name Keeshan sounds familiar, do you remember Bob Keeshan? He's related. Bob Keeshan was, of course, Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Green and all that guy. Yeah, well, the cousin is Kevin Keeshan. Kevin Keeshan, who used to be the news director at Channel 7 and a heavyweight in town at 900 Front, is a huge fan of Raj Mathai. Don't think that has nada to do with the ultimate decision with Raj Mathai. Another thing to factor in, that picture of Raj with Jess Aguirre and significantly the just retired Lester Holt. It was none other than Lester Holt that put in a good word about NBC corporate to Raj himself. Talk about utilizing the woo factor, enhancing it, did the network execs at 30 Rock by asking Lester Holt to put in a good word about NBC in Gotham. So we'll wait and see if I get any more information privy to this development, that I will obviously keep you informed. In the meantime, become a paid subscriber to my site. Also, like my channel here on YouTube, and we will see you later, alligator.